Welcome back to another video of From the Shed End with myself, T.Dot. Before we get into the content, please go and subscribe to the channel, give us a like, let us know your thoughts in the comments, and also click the link tree link in the description. That will take you to all our podcast episodes as well. Now, I don't know where to start with this one. I'll be honest, I don't know where to start. 3-0 is what I predicted in the preview before the game. I think Theo said 3-1 to Chelsea, like I did. I don't know where to start with this. I really don't. Let's start with Brighton. Let's give Brighton the credit that they deserve. Brilliant performance, 4-1 in the end for them. Yeah, brilliant performance. They did exactly what I thought they would do and press us. And they pressed from the front. They didn't allow us time on the ball. They made us make mistakes. They made us look like amateurs. Let's keep it 110%. They made us look like amateurs. And they played that, obviously Trossard, I said in the preview, he's one of those players in form. We've got to keep him quiet. We've got to not allow that space behind the wingbacks, which we did. We left too much space behind in those areas where Brighton exploited us and got the ball into the box on every opportunity. We're going to get onto our lineups shortly, but credit to Brighton because Trossard played really well. For Pascal Gross played really well. McAllister played really well. Even their subs when they came on and done a job. They done really well. Sanchez in goal, I thought was really good for them as well. So it was just a brilliant performance. And to beat Chelsea for the first time in the Premier League, obviously we haven't beaten them, I think, since 2020. I expected more. I expected more from Graham Potter, a team that he knows well. More than well, a team that he developed and brought through himself and nurtured this team to be the quality that they are. I expected more. I expected more from us. We came out and just looked like we weren't there. It looked like we were still in London. We didn't play like the team that we should have been playing. Now, when you play, let's go on to the formation. When you play this formation against RB Salzburg, it's fine because you're not being pressed. You're not being. There's no real urgency from the other team. You cannot play. You cannot play your wingers as wingbacks in the Premier League. It just is never going to work. It's not a good idea. It's been proven. This now has to be scrapped. Wingers cannot play wing back. Cucurella cannot play centre-back. I said this in another video not long ago. He can't play centre-back. He's not a centre-back. And I feel sorry. I want to say this, actually. I feel sorry for Cucurella, Silva and Chalobah yesterday. I feel sorry for them because Graham Potter set this team up to fail. In my opinion. We were never going to win the game because exactly what I said has happened in this game. We left acres of space. Now let's try and assess what's happened here. This is where Sterling was for most of the game. This is where Pulisic was for most of the game. This is where Thiago Silva had to play most of the game with Chalobah playing about there. So it left all this ground here for your three centre-backs. Chalobah was responsible pretty much for this area. He played mainly around here. Silva played mainly in midfield. Cucurella was trying to do as best he could on the left side, but Sterling, let's start with Sterling. Because I'm not sure how and why he's playing at the moment because he is not in form. And it's starting to raise that question of Pep wouldn't get rid of Raheem Sterling if Raheem Sterling had a job to do at Manchester City. Yes, Jack Grealish came in and, they've got abundance of other players that they can use in that position. But there's no way that Raheem Sterling would be leaving Man City if Pep thought he had a job to do at Manchester City. So we're seeing the decline already in Sterling. And this is, 9 games in the Premier League that he's played, and he's showing a decline already. Now, he's definitely been an upgrade as to what we had previously, 100%. But that doesn't mean he's the level that we need or the quality that we need him to be. He takes too many touches on the ball. His final decisions poor. It's just all poor. Such a poor game he had. And Pulisic for the goal. I mean, I don't know what he was doing, but this is where they were playing. Sterling and Pulisic were literally playing an offensive role. No defensive awareness, no defensive mindset. Like I said, poor Chalobah was run ragged. The first goal for Trossard, I mean, it's just a catalogue of errors. We made those errors ourselves. We didn't necessarily do anything to help ourselves, and I mean, there was signs already from Brighton that they were going to attack. The attacking intent from them was there from this first ball was kicked. Silva got caught out, or Kepa got caught out. Silva on the goal line a couple of times. You know, had to make a last ditch or tackle or a header. It was just the signs were there, and we didn't do anything about it. But the first goal, you know, Trossard, exactly what he can do. You know, I thought it was a brilliant goal that he took it really well. People will blame Kepa, but at the end of the day, the errors were made before he even got to Kepa. The errors were made already because of the tactics we were using. The formation that we were using didn't work. It left too much to do for Chalobah and Silva and Cucurella as centre-backs. There was no other defenders there apart from those three. And Brighton, rightfully so, played a back four, switched it up, used their brain, knew that Graham Potter was going to try and do exactly what he did. They used their brains and they kept looping the ball, lobbing the ball into those spaces behind Pulisic and Sterling and running into it. Acres of space to run into. The second goal, I don't know what to say, but you know, it comes off Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It's come off from a corner. I don't know what he's doing. You either hoof that ball outside of the Amex Stadium or you just get rid of the ball. But it almost was a very half-hearted attempt to try and do something. I don't know what he was trying to do, whether he felt he needed to get a touch just to stop the ball from maybe going behind. He didn't know who was behind him, whether he thought he had a Brighton player there. But do something. Don't just stick a leg out, because 9 out of 10 times it's going to ricochet into the goal. And the distance that he left himself between him and Kepa has stood no chance to save that. No chance at all. So another bad decision, poor defending, poor judgment from us in defence. But the third goal, yeah, it's just another bad bit of play again. You know, too much space for the likes of Pulisic, leaving that massive gap behind him. No real desire to get back. Same with Sterling on the other side as well. You know, brilliant ball in, and Chalobah was all over the place. Him, Cucurella and Thiago Silva were all over the place for the whole 90 minutes that however long they were on the pitch for. Chalobah just get rid of it. He just makes a sliding tackle. Doesn't really do anything. It was just poor. You know, and you think at halftime we might see something different. Obviously, Mendy comes on for Kepa due to, I think, a muscle strain and an injury. And then we get the goal back. Kai Havertz, beautiful ball in. Kai Havertz, you think, great, Kai Havertz is going to do something now. He's going to try and kick on. But then we just slowed everything down. It's like we were winning 3-1 when we scored. We slowed the whole game down. There was no urgency. There was more passing back, sideways passing, back to Mendy, back to Kovacic. There was just nothing going forward. Nothing. And I understand trying to play Kai Havertz. He had a brilliant game midweek, but surely you're going to rest Aubameyang against Zagreb. Play him. Play Aubameyang. Play Broja. Bring someone on. Bring a strike. We've got no strikers on the pitch. Bring a number 9 on the pitch. You need goals. You need goals. I didn't even realize Mason Mount was playing until 30 minutes into the game. It was that sort of performance we were showing yesterday, and I just can't get my head around Graham Potter knowing Brighton, not using his head and thinking, this is not going to work. Someone around Graham Potter must have said, we know Brighton. We know how they play. You can't use Pulisic and Sterling, and you've got Ben Chilwell, and you've got Azpilicueta that you could potentially use as a right centre-back, and Chilwell as your left wing-back. Ruben Loftus-Cheek eventually goes to right wing-back anyway. It didn't make any sense. I just can't process what happened. I can't process what happened. And it's not a moment to start saying Potter out, or, but these are basic things as a manager. Surely as a manager, you can see you can't play your wingers and ask them not to defend and then allow the likes of Chalobah to literally play in midfield with Silva. There was moments when Chalobah was playing almost in midfield, which then left Silva here. At one point, Ruben Loftus-Cheek was having to cover because Chalobah or Silva were going too far into midfield. It was just a mess of a performance. I honestly can't believe, and again, not a Potter out moment, but it's definitely a massive question mark over this formation. Sometimes you have to switch things up. Sometimes you have to go to a back four. Or use the players in the best way that you can. Do not use Pulisic as a wing-back. He's not a wing-back. Sterling is not a wing-back. So again, I criticise Sterling. I criticise Pulisic because, again, Conor Gallagher, I think, in the first half had a brilliant chance to score a goal, and then Pulisic follows it up and somehow misses. So I'm not criticising them for the defensive side of things because they shouldn't be there in the first place. But attacking-wise, they offered nothing yesterday. Havertz, yes, he got a goal, but he doesn't offer anything else. He doesn't do anything else. Mason Mount and Gallagher and Kovacic, again, I think Mason Mount, like I said, I didn't even know he was playing. I didn't realise he was even playing. He was that ineffective. Gallagher just runs around a bit sort of headless, but I thought he was one of the better players if I had to pick one out along with Kovacic. But this has got to stop using the wingers as wingbacks. We can't do it. It's not going to work. It's not fun. And when we go against a team like Manchester City, we can't do that. We can't do that. We're lucky that Liverpool lost yesterday. We're lucky. We're hoping that West Ham can beat Manchester United. Newcastle, brilliant performance from them. Spurs came back and beat Bournemouth. We can't drop points at this point in the season because after the World Cup, the games are coming thick and fast, and if we don't get as many points as we can now before the World Cup, it's only going to get more difficult. It's only going to get more difficult because I don't understand why we've got certain players on the bench. At that point when we're 3-1 down, I think Aubameyang comes on. I think Broja came on at some point. At that point, you may as well bring on Hutchinson and give him a run out. Chukwuemeka, you may as well bring these players on because the game was done at 2-0. It was done. It was done. We were never going to score 4 goals. We were never going to do that. We don't do that anyway. Poor performance all around. And this is now where you start thinking, is the job a bit too big for Graham Potter? Because he's either very stubborn, and yes, we've got injuries, so people will say, Reece James is out, Koulibaly's out, Wesley Fofana's out, but then you adapt to ensure that you see the game out and you get 3 points. You haven't got the centre backs to play 3 centre backs and your wing backs. That we haven't got the players. So go to a back four. Go to a back four and get that extra protection in midfield. Play Azpilicueta as a right back. Because Cucurella, he had a stinker of a game, but he's not a centre back. He might be able to play centre back, but he's not a centre back. He should not be playing there. And at the Amex as well. I felt sorry for him. He got booed pretty much throughout the whole game, subbed off. He must have been getting abuse while he was on the bench. He's not put in, last 3 games, he's not put in a good performance at all. And he's been hooked 3 times, back-to-back games. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for Cucurella. But like I said, Graham Potter put that team out and we were destined to fail as soon as the game kicked off because you can't allow Brighton, who will press you from the front, like I said, you can't allow them that much space to run into. You can't, because we just looked amateurish yesterday and it was a poor performance. And, a ground that Graham Potter knows very well, the team he knows very well. This is the one game I can't excuse him for losing because he should know this team back to front, what they do. Even if they went to a back four, he should know, right, I need to change. I need to adapt. He didn't do it. He did not do it. And it's a poor performance. And, we come here and we talk about when we're winning, but You know, when we're playing poor, we've got to call everything out, and that is another red flag for Graham Potter. I mean, the Salzburg game, the first one that he had, you know, you can kind of let those things off, and you know, Brentford, you can kind of let it off. United, you can kind of let them off, but against the team that you was with and you've managed and you know so well, there's no excuses. There's no excuses for that. There's none at all. There's none at all. So, you know, unfortunately, we got Arsenal on Sunday, and if we play like that, and that's a bigger game than anything, but if we play like that, we will get crucified. We'll get crucified because some of those players yesterday should be giving some of those fans their refunds because they played poor. And all those travelling fans that went down to the Amex, they should be getting refunds because it was that bad of a performance. It was awful. They should all be getting refunds because I'm still flabbergasted. I'm still flabbergasted. But we've got Zagreb in the week. Big game against Zagreb. We need to perform. We need to be doing well. I'm assuming there'll be rests. You know, players will be getting rested, but we need to perform better. And in all honesty, I kind of want to see some of the players that might be playing on Sunday in the week, and I think they need to. And I think Graham Potter needs to scrap this wingers playing wing backs. It's not going to work. Revert back to a back four until you've got your full complement of squad again, and reassess things, because this is Chelsea. You don't get time at Chelsea. You don't get time. People will say that this is not his squad. That's fair enough. And if he spends, you know, another $250 million in the summer, he'll be gone. This is what the nature of Chelsea is. So he's on borrowed time already. So poor performance all around. Couldn't even give you a standout player. Embarrassing performance. But we've got to dig deep now. Big game against Arsenal on Sunday. I do not want to be sitting here doing another video like this when it comes to Arsenal, because that one will hurt. But subscribe to the channel, guys. Make sure you let me know your thoughts about the performance yesterday in the comment section. And as I said before, there's a Linktree link in the description, so make sure you click that. It will take you to all the podcast episodes and all our social accounts as well. This has been T.Dot from the Shed End. Until next time, stay safe and thank you very much for watching.